it's Erin Floto here, and I am here doing October's Plan with Me. So this is a setup in my black Archer and Olive dot grid notebook. This is an A5 blackout notebook from Archer and Olive, and I'm using the Archer and Olive Acrylograph pens for this setup. And I decided to do a topographic map theme. I thought that this was a really fun idea to go from my mountain theme in September into a topographic theme. So basically, a topographic map discerns different elevations, and you can map out the different elevations that way, and you can map out an entire area. So I decided to do that for my theme for this month. So I'm starting off the month with a calendar. So I am doing a 2-page spread. I believe this is 5 boxes down and 6 boxes wide for my calendar. And so what I decided to do is to use the red, which indicates the lines on a topographic map where it shows the different elevations. The blue and the green, obviously, for landmarks, for greenery, and for lakes and things like that. And so this is a super easy theme because all you do is draw red squiggly lines everywhere, and that makes it a topographic map. It's so easy. If you want to recreate it, try it. It's so easy, and it's a lot of fun to play around with the different shapes. And I use 2 different weights. I use the 3mm and the 0.7mm just to give it a little bit of extra pizzazz, I guess. And on the maps, different elevations, kind of your milestone elevations, kind of get a thicker line versus other elevations that get a thinner line. So it keeps in line with the theme as well. So as you can see, I made a little bit of a mistake in the bottom corner of the map, so I decided to make a lake there. It's a really easy way to cover up these mistakes is just to put a new little piece of art. And then I put another lake on the top corner as well, just to give it some balance. And of course, I go with my trusty Monday start calendar. I like to do this because my weeks are blocked off from Monday to Thursday, which is my work week, and from Friday to Sunday, which is my weekend. So it only makes sense to me to start on a Monday. For some of you, that may not be the case, but that's how I like to do it, so please don't at me. I Googled this quote that says, "The voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but seeing with new eyes," from Marcel Proust. I thought that it was really applicable for this type of theme, and I'm really glad that I have just a little quotation to include on here as well to put something in that empty space, as well as just give me some motivational quote for the month. And of course, I made another mistake where I wrote the number 8 twice, and it took until the last or second to last number for me to realize that I did that. So I had to go back and put new dots in and redo the entire thing. But it's really lucky that these acrylograph pens, they work in layers, so you can't see through it. So it ended up working out in the long run, but of course I put the number 8 twice because of course it's not an easy setup. It is what it is. here is the first page for the setup. I decided not to go with a typical cover page for me, which is a lot of art, and just get right down into the calendar. And I'm really glad I did that because it really puts a really sharp image for how this month is going to work. And then I used my circle stencil to create this cleaning tracker. So I decided to go ahead and go through and off camera and put in pencils and then just trace the outline of that pencil marking instead of doing the actual stencil. So for these types of liquidy pens, if you use that stencil, sometimes the liquid can go under the stencil and cause smearing. So I find it best to use a pencil first. I decided to bring back my cleaning tracker in the month of October because, frankly, my house is a mess. So it's really necessary for me to do it. So if you need more instruction on this cleaning tracker, I have a whole video about it, and Joshi Curran actually did a video about it as well, and I really, really liked her ideas and her explanation of the process. So I will go ahead and link that video down below as well. Essentially, this tracker tracks things on different timetables, and I use it for a cleaning tracker, but it can be easily used for posting on social media or finances or pet care, which is what I did back in June. So the idea is that there's a section for daily tasks, a section for bi-weekly tasks, meaning tasks that happen twice a week, a section for weekly tasks, and a section for monthly tasks. I also added one more section, which for me is if I have time, this is a task that I would like to get done. So I have that in the last section instead of the cleaning tracker label. I decided to repurpose it for that. This time I decided to incorporate the topographic lines with my header. So the cleaning part is part of this idea of the topographic lines. And then I go ahead and add a bunch around as well for the rest of the decoration on this page and try to incorporate it with the cleaning tracker. Just like with the monthly calendar, I decided to do different line weights. I think that brings a lot of intrigue to it, and I also decided to bring in some lakes and some little feature points as well within this decorative element. So because I have my own iPad and sticker making business, I decided to go ahead and make some banners for myself. I thought that this would be a nice little breakup of the black, and it would honestly help me make this whole setup faster. So I decided to bring in these banners that are basically topographic maps. And then here is my bullet journal size guide. So this is one that is kind of a mess up. And you can see I am measuring out 3 spaces for each section using this stencil. The whole point of this stencil is so I don't have to count anymore. So basically, it helps me figure out how many boxes across or boxes down that I can get. And then I don't have to count anymore. So, for example, if I wanted to do this setup and I wanted to leave one space in between and I didn't want to count 3 boxes every time, not that 3 boxes is a lot, but like once you get to 8 or 9 or whatever, it's just really annoying. And I constantly lose count. So this stencil is really helpful for that. And I decided that I need to not just sit on my butt and I really need to start working out again. I finally started working out 1 or 2 times a week and it's felt really good. It's helped my mental health. So I'm hoping to continue that into October. And I decided to do a setup that I haven't done in a while, and I decided to bring in different types of workouts. I don't typically do a lot of different types of workouts, but I'm hoping that doing this type of setup will really encourage me to do that. So, my first section is for biking, the second is for cardio, the third is for abs, the fourth is for yoga, and the fifth is for strength training. And essentially, I will just mark off each day if I do that activity. It isn't meant to do all 5 activities in one day. Absolutely not. I'm barely getting back into working out. So basically, I just want to be able to really track what types of workouts I'm doing and when. And hopefully, I can see some sort of trend that maybe I have more motivation to do a long bike ride if I do it on Mondays. I don't know. So that's the whole idea of that type of workout log. So I'm using the banner and trying to incorporate it into the page a little bit more by continuing the topographic lines from the banner into the actual page. And again, my laziness wins out, so I decided to use another banner, and this is going to be for my self-care bingo. So I haven't actually filled out these like boxes because I really want to take some time and think about what self-care means to me right now, because that is pretty different from a few months ago when I did the self-care bingo. So I thought it would be helpful for me just to kind of check in with myself, see what things I can do for myself and my mental health. So I decided to take a little bit of time to figure that out. So again, I use the bullet journaling stencil, the size guide, to help me figure out 5 by 5 spaces, and I mark each one and use the red acrylograph pen to. I guess this is more of a like red wine than a red, but I decided to do that for the boxes around and then use the 0.7 millimeter to do the inside lines. Now, I know Amanda Rachley is like the queen of doing straight lines, and that's her superpower. I think I did pretty well considering I was highly overcaffeinated for this video. That cup of coffee was actually my second cup of coffee for the day. So I definitely was over caffeinated for this, but I think I still did a pretty good job even though my hands were shaking. And part of the lovely part about this type of theme is that squiggly lines are okay. So even if it isn't 100% straight, it's totally fine because that is part of the theme is being a little bit random and strange and moving in different ways because that's how the land is. It moves however it wants to move. So this last page is for October in review. So this is my journaling page for the month. I did this back in September. I haven't actually filled that page out, but I'm really excited to reflect on the month and all the good and the bad parts and really get my feelings out using some journaling techniques. I haven't journaled much in my bullet journal ever, so I'm really excited to do that for this month and for October. And oh, look at that white. Ooh, it looks good. Um, and I really felt like I really needed some sort of reflection to go with it. So I wanted to keep this space just for the end of the month, going back through and saying, okay, what happened this month? What are some things that I want to recognize? What are some things I want to do better? What are some things that are out of my control and that I wish I did have control over, all of that type of stuff, really getting my feelings out on paper. So that is my whole setup for October. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that kind of jazz, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.